Hey, this is Steve. Today I want to talk to you about bouncing your MIDI files down into audio files, like I've got up here. Now, those who have seen my sessions will see that I do a MIDI track first for the instrument that I'll play in, and I'll bounce that down directly under it into an audio track. And there are various reasons that you would do this and various reasons that you wouldn't. Now, so if you were used to playing with Logic or playing with Ableton or some other Fruity Loops, something like that, FL Studios, you'd be used to just bouncing directly from your MIDI files and your blocks and clips and things like that, and not going down to your audio like I'm doing here. Now, Pro Tools is especially good at audio, and this is one of the reasons why I do it. But let me take you through some of the more important reasons. Now, the first one is that I use multi-track instruments. Now, this is called Play by East West Sounds, or soundsonline.com. I use a lot of their instruments because they're very, very good. Now, I'm not getting endorsed or paid by them to say this in any means, by any means, but I just find them very, very, very good. They are not the best on the market because the best are really expensive, but these guys are awesome. But what they do is they allow you to load multiple instruments in to the one player at the same time. Now, the way MIDI works is you'll play a MIDI track like this. It will feed the information into this play engine, and in this particular case that was the drum kit, the AOT elements, and it will produce an audio sound. Now, you can just leave it as that, just playing MIDI straight in, and Pro Tools will quite happily, if I unmute it, play it. You can see it's all moving here, it's doing what it should do. Now, what it doesn't allow for is putting like a compressor, EQ, any kind of effects on each one of these tracks. So let's just say I want to compress this drum kit a little bit more. I can't do it within this player here. So I'll have to shift that over and bounce it down to an audio file, because you can't install a compressor on a MIDI track. And you can install a compressor on the auxiliary track over here, but that covers all of the instruments that was loaded into Play, not just the drum kit. But if you do this, bounce it down to the audio, you can individually compress or EQ or treat in any way you like, delay your kit. So I've got a compressor here at the moment. It's a cute little one. Let me just bring it onto the screen for you. It's free, in fact, Klanghelm. And it sounds quite nice. So I'll just enable that by holding down Command and clicking on the plug-in there. I can turn that on and off. Now, I've just exaggerated it because honestly it doesn't need to be quite that much. I was just showing you how that can be done, and I can go through and add a delay to it or something like that, or any kind of harmonic or modulation, distortion, anything at all. I like to just add to that one audio track I can do, which I couldn't do before. So here we go. I've got drum kit here, I've got a Madal here, which is just a cute little thing, and I'll just show you how they all sound. Let's get rid of that. A Madal, a Tantan, Pandero, which is a beautiful sounding thing, and they are all the audio that you're listening to bounce down from Play. That's all them combined. Now, another reason why you would do that is because an engine like Play over here is very CPU and RAM hungry. So once you've loaded like the capacity in there, it's going to weigh down your computer incredibly. So as you can see, I've got a lot of notes playing at once here. So if I can try and lighten that load a little by recording it down into the audio and then muting the MIDI is no longer sent out to the Play engine, and it doesn't affect the CPU anymore. So I'll go through and I'll record about 3 or 4 tracks at once, into audio, I'll bounce them down, and then I'll mute the MIDIs, and then I'll move on to the next few, and I'll bounce them down, and then I'll mute the MIDIs. So it just reduces the effect on the computer, and it makes life so much less frustrating. So parallel effects as well. Like I was showing you this compression, that's a series effect. But parallel effects are where you've got something that's time-based, like your reverb up here or your delays. Now I've already got a few reverbs and delays in there, and as you can see, I've got a send over here. It's going out to reverb already from the audio track. You can't do it from the MIDI, you can do it from the audio. Now you can, once again, you can apply a reverb to this individual track here, but that's not the way you do things. You keep one reverb as an auxiliary separately, or a delay separately, and feed all your audio into that one reverb instead of having 4 or 5 or 6 different reverbs going at the same time. Once again, keep your CPU running light. So I could have a delay in here as well. Bus out to delay, and just crank it up a little. See, I've got the send volume there. I'll press Option and click, and that goes to Unity. And I've got it going to delay, which is a bit silly. Now I've just got the Madol going. Oops, no I don't. I can just move that around. Make the tan go to the delay. So yeah, you can work them around individually, and yeah, you can play around with all sorts of audio aspects. You can also go in and play around with the volumes on each of the tracks. So let's just say I wanted to adjust the volume on my drum kit. There we go. And I can do that on each individual track rather than on the whole lot. And if that thing stops spinning, that's great. I'll just undo that because I don't want it to do that. I'm in loop land with this whole thing at the moment, by the way. It's not finished by any means. I've just thrown this together this morning. What else can you do? Oh, okay, so you can do all sorts of things with stretching, cutting, copy, pasting, you know. Press B to bounce it, hold down Option, move that around. Now this is all stuff you can do with your MIDI as well, but you can't add a fade so much, can you? Fade them in and out. And it's all very, very easy when you've got an audio WAV file there. The other thing you can do is with a MIDI, all you've got is dots. Just dots. And they don't show you a great deal. Now you can go in here and you can have a look at, you know, your velocities and your dots as well. You can have a look at your mod wheel, which I haven't got that moved there at all, or your sustain, and once again I haven't got that there at all. Let's go back to your notes. I'll just go down so you can see all the notes there. But what you can't really do is you can't see the intensity of it. So with Madol, it's all pretty steady. But you can see I've got a loud note, that little hit. Oops. Right, very good. So just to recap, bouncing down to WAV files, audio files is very good for multi-track instruments like Play, even like Omnisphere. I've got that coming out into multiple tracks further down. So I've got the bass is Trillion module. It does the same thing. It's all multi-tracked. Kontact by Native Instruments. There's all sorts of different instruments that people are using these days which are multi-track, not just individual tracks. And they are just wonderful for that. So multi-track, applying effects, series and parallel, doing your standard WAV editing just like you do with any recording. You can see your track intensity And that's about it. Oh, keeping your CPU light. There you go. Enjoy. So go out, do some good with your music.